Yeah, Hewlett Harbor, Hewlett Bay Park, those are all, that's all Hewlett. Yeah, no, those don't count. Do you want a hint? This will be fun throughout the service. Let's see if we get it right.
She came from Kazakhstan.
Oh my gosh.
She has this vivid. Do you remember? You weren't here when Galina was here. She has this natural, just flashing red hair. It was like unbelievable. We used to call her the Red Russian. And she has a degree from the Moscow Music Conservatory in choir. And she has this remarkable voice. And then she graduated, and we didn't have full-time cantor. We couldn't afford one at the time, so she went to somewhere else. She was extraordinary. We've had some really good cantors. Should we do this?
Rock and roll.
Hello. Andy, are you on?
Yep. Am I on? I'm on, right? Great. Oh, that's fine. I'll ignore it.
Shana Tova. Welcome, and I know that we're going to eventually need more chairs, so don't worry about it. Teo's on the job. I ordered this perfect weather for you because, as you know, I'm in charge of weather. Even though I like to say I'm only in sales and advertising, not management. But it is a gorgeous day, a perfect day to begin our new year with our second day of Rosh Hashanah. And if everybody doesn't know me, I'm Rabbi Stanway, and you can introduce yourself.
I'm Cantor Rubel, but you can call me Cantor Michelle.
Michelle Rubel. And let's begin our service on page 120 with Asher Yatzar.
Asher Yatzar et ha'adam bechachma u'baravo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim Asher Yatzar et ha'adam bechachma
Baruch atah Adonai asher biyado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish. We give you praise, Adonai. All life is in your hand and in your care, the soul of every human being. Elohai Neshama, page 122.
Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi tehorai, Ata
I'm continuing on page 124. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, who gave the mind discernment to distinguish light from darkness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power opens eyes that cannot see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power brings freedom to the captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power lifts up the fallen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power spreads the land upon the waters. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power has made all I need. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power gives firmness to our steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power gives clothes to the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power gives strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from my eyelids. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power made us in the image of God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power endowed us with human freedom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power has made us Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power gives strength to Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, your great power crowns Israel with glory. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, praises the one who spoke the world into being. Page 130, and you are invited to join with the cantor.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch hu, Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch hu, Baruch Hoseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Ve'aseh, Baruch Gozer Umkayem, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch hu, Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch hu, Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch mishalem sachar tov l'reav, Baruch hai la'ad v'kayam lanetzach, Baruch poder umatzil, Baruch shemo, Baruch Hoseh Bereshit,
I invite you to join with me responsively on 130. Blessed is the one who spoke the world into being. Praised is God. Praise the one who is ever creating. Praise the one who creates with a word. Praise be the one whose vision is made real. Praise be the one who loves the earth.
Praise the one who loves the earth's creatures.
Praise the one whose worshippers know goodness.
Praise the one whose life and being last forever.
Praise the one who rescues and sets free. Blessed is your name. Our sovereign, we praise you with songs of celebration. Your oneness is the life of the cosmos. Baruch atah Adonai mehulal betishpachot on page 132.
Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od hallelujah selah. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od hallelujah selah. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei veitecha. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei veitecha. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od hallelujah selah. Ashrei yoshvei veitecha, od hallelujah selah. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei veitecha. Ashrei, ashrei, ashrei yoshvei veitecha. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever. Happy are those who dwell in your house. They will sing your praises forever.
We continue on page 136, and I invite you to join with me responsively. Blessed are we, blessed our gathering as we open our hearts to the voice of the shofar. Happy are we who hear its call to return, the sacred trumpet of Teshuvah. Blessed are we, held close by an ancient sound that echoes Lador Vador from generation to generation. Happy are we, rising to the joyful cry of a new year. Blessed are we who hear in these blasts the voice of community. Happy are we who know its embrace, its seasons of celebration, its quest for connection and purpose. Holy is the gift of community, blessed the act of belonging. As we rise for the first sounding of the shofar. Shema Yisrael HaKadoshah Shofa'at Bakol. Hear, O Israel, the divine abounds everywhere and dwells in everything. Its faces are infinite, its sources suffuse all. The many are one.
Tekiah. Shevarim teruah. Tekiah.
Oh, let's see, hang on a second. You may be seated, I'm sorry. Page 141.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabo be'almo divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael b'galav v'zman kariv v'meru וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא, ויתהדר, ויתעלה, ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה ולעילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ורחמתה, תאמירן מעלמה וימרו.
Amen. We continue with the call to worship the Baruch Hu on page 142, and please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed.
And you may be seated if you wish. You may join with me, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, or chadash ba'otzer chayim, orot me'of el amar v'yehi. I'm continuing on page 145. Hello, sun in my face. Hello, you who make morning and spread over the fields, and into the faces of the tulips and the nodding morning glories, and into the windows of even the miserable and the crotchety. Best preacher that ever was, dear star that just happens to be where you are in the universe, to keep us from ever darkness, to ease us with warm touching, to hold us in the great hands of light. Good morning, good morning. Watch now as I start the day in happiness and kindness. You never thought to hear the word crotchety. Right, in a Rosh Hashanah, service. I chose that prayer intentionally. What's the Yiddish word for crotchety? Anybody know? What is it? Kvetchy is a verb. Well, kvetchy, you kvetch, so you're kvetchy. So that's kind of, yeah. But there's a word. Anybody? Fabissina. Now I get to teach a little bit because this is fun. The word fa in Yiddish, and this is the extent of my Yiddish. The word fa means the state of, right? Like gefilte fish, that which is filled. Gefilte fish, the state of a fish being filled. So fabissina is the state of bissina, and bissina is the English word bitterness. So fabissina means somebody who is bitter or crotchety. Shana Tova. Page 146.
Ahava Rabbav Tanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Cham Lagidol Vitera, Hamalta Aleinu, Ba'avur Avoteinu, Ve'imatenu, Shebatchu Vecha, Shebatchu Vecha, Shebatchu Vecha. תלמדם חוקי חיים, כן תכוננו תלמדנו, אבינו אב הרחמן, המרחם רחם עלינו, ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמוע ולעשות.
continue as we rise for the Shema on page 150.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam
You may be seated, and we will continue on page 152 with the Via Hafta.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושמרתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ובשבתם עוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Yeah, man, don't go anywhere. So, only Stella could find these things. So Stella said to me this morning, she said, if any student, any child, don't worry, you'll get one, Tali. If any student, if any child wants a part in the service and they come up for a part in the service, they get a little sticker. So this one says, I'm sweeter than apples and honey. Who wants this one? And the other one says, may you spend Rosh Hashanah doing something you atone for on Yom Kippur. Who wants which one? Take it back to your seat.
Thank you.
It's almost as good as crotchety. You know, I told you we have fun at our second day service. Page 161. The Israelites walked into the Reed Sea 1 foot at a time. What were they thinking about as the water rose up to their legs, chilling their hearts, advancing towards their open mouths? We continue to walk here now 1 foot at a time, and on our better days forward. Alone I cannot reach the far shore without drowning. Somehow I don't go under. The person to my right holds me up. Something I cannot see holds her up. Blessed is the source of help so unexpected. We step forward. The sea is vast.
Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nor tehilot b'sefer, shira chadasha, shibchu geulim l'shimcha sfatayam, yachad kul
Page 166, as we rise as a congregation for the tefillah.
Adonai, Shefatai Tiftach, Ufi Agite Hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Ve'hanora Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Ve'konei Hakol Ve'zocher Chastei Avut Ve'imahot U'mevi Geulah Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Zochreinu l'chaim Melech hafetz b'chaim V'chodvenu b'sefer ha'chaim L'moncha Elohim chaim Melech ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayeh hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia Mechalkel chaim v'chesed Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim Somech noflim v'rofech cholim U'matir asurim U'mekayem emunato L'shenei afar Michamocha b'al gvurot U'midom elach Melech mimit u'mchayei U'matzmiach Yeshua Michamocha el harachamim Zocher yitzurav Lechaim barachamim V'ne'eman atah Lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol.
You may be seated. We continue on page 174. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, Your reign is a reign of truth.
ונתנה תוקף קדושת היום, כי הוא נורא ואיום, ובוא תנשא מלכותך, וייכון בחסד כיסאך, ותשב עליו באמת.
Please join with me if you will. In truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you recount and record. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark and imprint like no other. I'm continuing on 176. And so a great shofar will cry Tekiah. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, and you inscribe judgments. Page 178.
בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון, כמה יעברון וכמה ייבראון. בראש השנה בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור ייכתבון. בראש השנה ייכתבון, וביום צום כיפור, וביום צום כיפור Rosh Hashanah, Yikatevun, Uveyom Tzom Kippur, Uveyom Tzom Kippur, Yachatemun, Rosh Hashanah, Yikatevun, Uveyom Tzom Kippur, Uveyom Tzom Kippur,
I'm continuing on page 178, but first a word of a little commentary. Every so often you come across a piece of liturgy, a prayer, that really tends to impact you more than others. Sometimes we just read the prayers and we just move on. But on Rosh Hashanah, when we read B'Rosh Hashanah Yikatevun, how many will live and how many will die, it's a medieval prayer, but the idea is that somehow God writes the names in the book of life, or maybe not, and we hope we're written in the book of life. I used to have a teacher of liturgy that said this is part of the service where older people tend to pass out from fear. And I get it. Yeah, I get it. I do. I get it. I don't believe that God actually writes in a book. I think what happens is we write our own signatures in the book. And what kind of life are we going to have? Is it going to be a life of caring, or are we going to die in the throes of apathy? And today, on this Rosh Hashanah, I'm thinking of when I was way back when a student rabbi, and we had congregations all over the United States that we would go to, right? And we would serve them for the high holidays, right? And we would get there on Erev Rosh Hashanah, and somebody would feed us, hopefully. And then we would be there for first day Rosh Hashanah, and if they had a second day of Rosh Hashanah, and then we'd be for the whole week between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and then we'd be there for Yom Kippur, and we'd come back, and we'd have to come tell stories about all of the funny things that happened to us. But one of those congregations was in Asheville, North Carolina. And I'm thinking now of all of those places that were so affected by the hurricane, by Helene. And the phrase in here, who will die by flood, who by fire, who by water. And today, when we are reading these, when I'm reading these words, I don't want to speak for all of us, but when I'm reading these words, I'm hearing I'm hearing the train, but I'm hearing my heart say, how will we respond to those in the past week who have been suffering by fire and by water and by landslides? And the worst part is those who are suffering from the apathy of others, for whom the events in North Carolina and Georgia and Florida simply don't care about. And that's the real death. It's not a physical death, but it's a death of the spirit. And when we read these words, we really need to examine who we are inside of ourselves and to say, are we going to write in our book of life our own death of the spirit, or are we going to be animated by these words and resolve to have our spirits come alive? On Rosh Hashanah, it is written, on the fast of Yom Kippur it is sealed, how many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? who will live in poverty and who in prosperity, who will be humbled and who will be exalted. On page 180. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. On page 184, we rise for the Kiddusha.
נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך הארץ, כבודו, אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול וקדוש אתה.
You may be seated. Page 186, I invite you to join me. And so in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear into reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. And we continue on page 192. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you. As the psalmists believe, Adonai will reign eternally, your God Zion for all generations. Hallelujah.
קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, והנה לו מבלעדיך, ככתוב, ויגבר אדוני צבאות במשפט, והאל הקדוש נקדש בצדקה. Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh.
Page 196. Please join with me responsively. Our God and God of the generations before us, may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and be seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness. Together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel, may be we remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life, for peace, on this day of remembrance.
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imateinu, Ya'aleh v'Yavo v'Yagiu v'Yireh, v'Yiratzeh v'Yishma v'Yipaked v'Yizacher, Zichronenu u'Fiktonenu v'Zichron Avotenu v'Imotenu, v'zichron Yerushalayim ir kodshecha, v'zichron kol amecha beit Yisrael lefanecha, lifleita letova, lechenu lechesed ulrachamim, lechayim ulshalom, v'yom hazikaron hazeh.
Zochrenu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova, eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
Ufokdenu vo livracha, be mindful of us.
Amen.
V'hoshienu vo lechayim, and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. Amen. Page 201. So somebody yesterday...
No, you're good. Go,
I'm
go.
good. I'm good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody yesterday, I told people yesterday that this was my favorite high holiday song because I grew up with it. Right? Bobby knows this. So right, right? All the world shall come to serve you. So I said. So it's a translation from a Hebrew poem, and it was set into music, and I grew up with different words. And these are the modern words. So I asked yesterday, should we use the modern words or the old words next year? And somebody from the back screamed, do both. So next year we're going to go through it twice with the original words and then with the modern words. And then you'll be singing it in your sleep. Page 201.
May all be moved to serve you, praise your presence, bless your name, your splendor and your justice, sea and land shall then proclaim. Let us seek your face at sunrise, in the darkness teach your ways. May your power and uniqueness be the essence of our days. When we speak about your glory, when we praise you for your might, those who hear will feel your presence, turn from darkness to the light. Let sea coast burst exultant, hymns embrace your joyful songs. When people sing together, the world shall see your sovereign crown.
That last line, when people sing together, people will see your sovereign crown, always reminded me of the old Coke commercials. I'd like to teach the world to sing. Remember that? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let's continue with the Aleinu Hagadol, the great Aleinu, on page 202. Please rise.
Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereishit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, shelo samanu kemishbechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegoraleinu kechol hamonom, v'anachnu koreim u'mishochavi Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We're going to continue on page 205. Dwell on each sound of the shofar. Let us contemplate its meaning. Tekiah, one whole note. Shivarim teruah, 3 broken notes, 9 staccato notes. Tekiah, one whole note. My return to the right path has the power to make me whole again. Tekiah, once I was whole. Shivarim teruah, in the wear and tear of living, I became broken and shattered. Tekiah, my teshuvah, has the power to make me whole again.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kiyemanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
And before I blow the shofar, I would like all of the children to come on up, and they're going to give me the instruction of which sound to make with the shofar. Come on up. Come on up. You're not a child anymore, Tali. Come on up. No, the cantor will help you. The cantor will help you.
Don't worry.
Come on up. Come on up.
Don't worry.
She'll tell you which words to say. I saw the Wishkoff kids somewhere.
They're being dragged.
They're being dragged? Come on. Okay, so you guys stand over right beside the cantor. Come on up. Hi. Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
So we can make the rabbi do any sounds we want, or we'll just do the ones on the thing.
Oh, well, come on. Yeah. Come on over here. Hi.
Kitty? Yeah, close enough.
Okay.
One of these exceptional young children said, "Can we just make the rabbi do Tekiah Gedolah every time? Maybe next year."
You don't want to have a rabbi
Right.
by this afternoon.
We do have to finish the service. All right, everybody. You ready? You can start with Tekiah.
Tekiah.
I didn't hear you.
Tekiah.
Shivarim Teruah.
Shivarim teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah.
Shivarim.
Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah.
Teruah.
Teruah.
Tekiah.
Tekiah.
All right, great job.
Good job. You want to come back for the next one, too?
Be careful of the wires, okay?
You may be seated. Page 207.
Areshet sefatinu yeraf lefanecha el ram venisa. Areshet sefatinu yeraf lefanecha el ram venisa. Nevinu mazin mabit umakshiv l'kol tgiyatinu. Utkabel berachamim berachamim uvratzon seder malchuyatenu.
Please join me on page 208. God who is ours and the God of our fathers and mothers, lead us to holiness through your mitzvot, and may each of us find a portion of Torah that is ours. You bestow such goodness, teach us to be satisfied and to know the joy of your salvation. Help us to serve you truly with purity of heart, You are a faithful God whose truth stands forever. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. Utefilatam, utefilatam, be'ahava tikabel. Utefilatam, utefilatam, be'ahava tikabel. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. Utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Utehil ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ma'amcha Yisrael. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadcha beyirat
We are on page 211, and I told Rabbi Sai I would not get up here and read unless I got my own sticker. So, oh, sorry. To the one who chopped wood, to the one who raised cattle, to the storekeeper, the cobbler, and the one who sold salt, to the one who brewed beer and the one who filled casks of wine, to the tailor, to the teacher, to the dealer in cotton, to the one who scrubbed clothing, to the keeper of vines, to the merchant of silk, to the one who plowed fields, to the builder of houses, to the doctors and scribes, to the blacksmith, to the tanner, to the digger of graves. Let us give thanks for a tradition that sanctifies work. Let us honor those who toil and sustain the world in noble and humble ways. We acknowledge those whose labor goes unnoticed. We praise the strength of their hands and the dedication of their hearts. I don't know which one he's giving.
I'm giving, so I chose one at random. This is what I'm giving Wendy. This is great. It says, Hug Sameach.
Oh, I like that.
Not Chag, hug, like a hug, Sameach, and Shana Tova.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Modim anachnu lach, so many things for us to be grateful for. And as I often do, I invite you to share with the congregation what you are grateful for this morning. What are you grateful for this week or this year? Lori. A new baby boy, grandchild. Born when? Mazel tov. Mazel tov. Who else? Wendy. A new great nephew, Mazel tov. Who else is grateful for what? Yes. I can't hear, I'm deaf. Yeah, right? Is this like perfect Rosh Hashanah weather? Yeah. Yes. For a loving family, indeed. Anybody else? Barbara. Your beautiful granddaughter, indeed. Anybody else? What, only the people only on this side of the congregation are grateful? What happened to that? Yes. I'm grateful my son is getting married. My son is not getting married, but that's what she said. Who else is grateful for whatever? Stella? What did you do? Oh, grateful for the Iron Dome, indeed. And anybody else? Modim anachnu lach baruch atah Adonai atov shimcha ulacha na'el hodot. Praised are you, O God, to whom it is fitting that we give so many thanks. We're on page 214. Our God, divine presence, whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with words first bestowed upon Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hope with theirs. May you know God's blessing of shelter and care. May you receive the light of God's kindness and grace. May you see God's favor and goodness, and may you partake in God's peace. Page 216.
Sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, sim shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, sim shalom, sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, barchenu avinu kulanu kechad be'or panecha, ki be'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, Torah chaim ve'ahavat chesed, ve'ahavat chesed, utzedaka uvracha ve'rachamim, ve'chaim ve'shalom, sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, sim shalom tova uvracha, sim shalom tova uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, ve'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha, את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך שים שלום טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה וברכה חן וחסד ורחמים שים שלום טובה וברכה שים שלום טובה וברכה חן וחסד ורחמים.
We continue with a moment of some personal and silent reflection and prayer. It can be found on page 218, page 219.
עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל amen.
We continue on page 223 as we rise for Avinu Malkeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol aleinu ve'alol aleinu v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu kalei davar v'charev v'rav me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu kalei kol tsar u'mastin me'aleinu. Avinu Malkeinu kotvenu besefer chayim tovim. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh aleinu shana tova. Avinu Malkeinu Harem Keren Yisrael Amecha Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim Aseh imanu Tzedaka v'chesed Aseh imanu Tzedaka v'chesed Ve'hoshi'enu Aseh imanu Tzedaka v'chesed Aseh imanu Tzedaka v'chesed Ve'hoshi'enu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Avinu Malkeinu Choneinu Vaneinu Ki ein banu masim.
We continue on page 227 with the service for the reading of the Torah.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha Malechutecha malechut kol ha'olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'dor Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch le'olam eved Adonai oz le'amo yitein Adonai varach et amo v'shalom Av harachamim heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim Ki v'chol levad batachnu Melech el ram v'nisa Adon olamim Adonai Adonai el rachum v'chanun Erech apayim v'rav chesed v'emet Notzer chesed la'alafim Nosei avon v'fesha v'chata v'naket Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh v'nora Shemo Galul Adonai iti Unerom ema Shemo yachdav Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'tiferet v'hanetzach v'ahod Ki chol v'shamayim uva'aretz Ki chol v'shamayim uva'aretz Lecha Adonai hamamlach
seated. So the Torah reading is right from the very beginning of the Torah, which is the creation of the world. And anybody know why we're reading about the creation of the world today? Huh? It's the beginning, right? And this is a new year. And according to Jewish tradition, the world was created 5,700, 85 years ago, right? Now I know that I have dust bunnies under my bed that are older than 5,785 years. This is, remember, Stella's going, what are you talking about? This is according to tradition, and there's a long story about where they got that number from that I won't go into now. The Torah portion can actually be found on page 330 of your Machzor. Let's see what we got here. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahed. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vahed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And our reader this year is carrying on a family tradition. Talia Tangora, who was bat mitzvah, last year, 2 years ago? Last year. Right after her bat mitzvah, I said, you going to read Torah for Rosh Hashanah? And she said, yes, yes. Why is it a family tradition? Because her brother, who had the audacity to go to college, where is he in college? Duke? Michigan. Michigan. He's at Michigan, and I hope he's watching. Alex, if you're watching, hi. So Talia is going to be reading the first several days. You know what? I need somebody to hold the Torah open. Stella, can you come here for just a second? Can you just go on the other side of Talia and hold that, just like that? Okay. Huh?
Bereshit bara Elohim hashamayim v'et haaretz v'haaretz hayata tahu v'avu v'choshech al pnei tehom v'ruch Elohim mirchafet al pnei hamayim v'yomer Elohim yechi or v'chi or v'yor Elohim et haor chitov v'yavdel Elohim ben chayor uven chahoshech v'yikra Elohim leor yom v'lachashach keru laila v'ya erev v'chi boker yom echad v'yomer Elohim yachi rakia beto amayim v'chi Mavdal ben Mayim lemor v'chesh Elohim et harkia v'yavdel ben Chamayim asher metechat l'rkia uven Chamayim asher me'al l'rkia v'chi chen v'yikra Elohim l'rkia shamayim v'chi erev v'chi voker yom sheni v'omer Elohim yaku hamayim mitchat hashamayim al makom echad v'yatra havasha v'chi chen v'yikra Elohim levasha aretz uve mikveh hamayim kara mi v'er Elohim chitov v'yomer Elohim Kedsha Asher Dish Haaretz Decha Asher Mi Mazria Zera Atsa Peri It Peri Asher Peri Limnu Asher Zeru Vi El Haaretz Vichin Vitse Haaretz Decha Ashev Esev Mizra Zera Limnehu Vet Hasa Peri Asher Zera Vi Limnehu Vera Elohim Chito Vea Erev V'chi Voker Yom Shlishi Veomer Elohim V'chi Merat Baraki Esh Hashamayim L'chadalim L'havdil Bein Hayom Uvein Halayla V'chi Litat Umadim Uyamim Eshenim Uchai Limnerat Barakia Hashamayim Leor Al Haaretz V'chi Chen V'ish Elohim Et Shnei Chamarim Hagdolim Et Chaor Hagadol Lemshalet Hayom Ve'et Hamaor Lemshalet Halayla Ve'et Havolim Ve'en Betem Atam Elohim Berakia Hashamayim Leor Al L'Chair Al Haaretz Ve'al Memshol B'yom Uvelayla Uhavdil Ben Chaor Uven HaChoshach V'yor Elohim Kitov V'chi Erev V'chi Boker Yom Revi V'yomer Elohim Yishratzu Chamayim She'eretz Nefesh Hayach Va'of Yofef Al Haaretz Al Pnei Rakia HaShamayim V'hivra Elohim Et Chatanim Hadolim Ve'et Kol Nefesh Hachaya Haramesha Asher Sheritzu Hamayim Limnehem Ve'et Kol Ev of Kenef Limnehu Ve'er Elohim Chito Ve'ovar Etam Elohim Lemor Peru Urvu Ve'umeu Et Hamayim Bayamim Ve'chayev Orev Ve'retz V'chi Erev V'chi Boker Yom Chamashi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah v'amot v'olam natan v'tafenu Baruch atah Adonai. Amen. Now that we have the Torah open, we prepare for the Birkat HaGomel in the presence of our sages and in the presence of this sacred scroll. We give thanks for the blessings in our lives. Rav Judah said in the name of Rav, who should offer thanksgiving? Those who have completed an arduous journey, those who have recovered from an illness or injury, and prisoners who have been set free. In the midst of the congregation, We honor those who have come through times of challenge, difficulty, or danger. Today we celebrate their survival. Together we give thanks for the resilience of the body, for the strength of the human spirit, for the precious gift of life experienced with new intensity when life has been at risk. And does anybody want to share if they've gone through an arduous journey of any variety? You don't have to. I know this is kind of tough. No? Good. But for all of those people who have, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hagomel l'chayavim tovot shegmaleni kol tov. Blessed are you, O God eternal. Your majesty fills the universe through your generosity. So many of us have experienced your goodness. Amen. Mi shegamlacha kol tov hu yigmalcha kol tov sela. May the source of goodness bring us all goodness at all times. And for those who continue to bring honor to our community, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask if you are serving on the board of the temple or have any sort of official position at the temple to please rise and be recognized. Good, very good. And please join with us on page 235. May the Creator of conscience, who implants within us the desire to do good, bless you who rise today to receive our gratitude and praise. May you take joy in your achievements, find meaning in a life of service. May you go from strength to strength. We pray that all your endeavors will prosper and that your deeds will inspire others, bringing honor to our community and people. We join with your friends and family in celebration of all your good works, and together we say, Kol hakavod, all honor to you, for you honor us through your deeds. You may be seated, I'm sorry. Okay. We're going to put the Torah away now? Do we do a Mishavera?
No,
We're going to hug Bob.
something. I don't know. It's not on there. Whoever finds it first gets a prize.
Actually, whoever finds it first gets it.
246.
240, she gets a sticker. Good luck.
וזאת התורה ששם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ליד משה.
So I'd like to, Ola, there we are. I'd like to invite Stella Stanway to the Bima to share with us some reflections. What does that mean?
Shana Tova, a Happy New Year. But is it? Is it really? This morning, while Talia was reading and the service was going on, there were rocket alerts in Israel. Usually this time of the Jewish New Year is full of promise, full of potential, full of maybes and hopefullys. We wish each other a good year, a year of health and prosperity. This year, maybe not so much. I don't know about you, but this past year has been pretty, well, the word rhymes with bitty. Ever since October 7th, a year ago Monday, Jews around the world have not really had such a good year, and it's hard to see how we will ever have one now. I don't need to recount all the reasons why. Could it be the unprecedented security failure which allowed some 6,000 Hamas thugs and random looters to overrun and overwhelm Israeli communities along the Gaza border? Could it be the murder and mutilation of over 1,000 men, women, and children in their homes? Or maybe it was the kidnapping of 251 men, women, children, and babies, of whom only 101 remain, and a fraction of those still alive. Or is it the resulting terrible urban war, with many, many unfortunate Gaza casualties, not to mention the losses of our precious young men and women? Or perhaps the dramatic rise in anti-Semitism worldwide? Oh, sorry, I wasn't going to recount the reasons. But here we are, about a year later, and we have nothing to show for it but grief. So much painful grief, anxiety, trauma, along with a terrible rise in worldwide anti-Semitism and an embarrassing number of Gen Z keyboard warriors, Jewish ones too, who don't really want to know anything about the history of the conflict and choose to see it only through a tiny peephole. Like many Jews, my heart shattered over and over again as the horrors came to light. I have felt a sense of daily doom and a strong urge that I had to do something. Aside from sending money in sums that are not usual for me, supporting Barzilai Hospital in Ashkelon, Ground Zero for the area injured, and our local federation, among others, I was presented with an opportunity to host a family of 6, a mom, her 4 daughters, and her 21-year-old nephew, who live in Kibbutz Negba, just past the area that was attacked, for a few weeks. We had never met, but because she was a friend of a mutual friend, Sai and I did not hesitate stepping up. Being so close to the edge of the attack and not knowing what might come next, driven by terror that could befall her daughters, this friend just fled, hoping things would work themselves out once she arrived to Newark. And they did, because she ended up at my house. I waited for her at the airport on a Friday night. I think it was the first one right after the attack, draped in an Israeli flag. As we spotted each other, we hugged, and her first words were, "I don't feel safe." I was determined to make her feel safe. After all, we're in America, right? We got home, situated everyone, but before she could turn in for the night, she asked if our doors were locked and did we have a security system. Has anyone here ever felt such fear? Just imagine it for a minute. In my quiet, suburban New Jersey home, fear that invaders would come. And so we got to know each other, and as we ventured out to entertain the kids, slowly she began to relax, just a little. Because as each fresh hell was revealed, the texts flew back and forth on her WhatsApp. The bewilderment at how this could have happened and what it could mean kept her and me so stressed. There just were no answers. And by the way, the war hadn't even started yet, as Israel was trying to come to grips with what had happened and weighed each option as a response. After a few weeks, and just before the ground invasion, the dust had kind of settled, and that family returned home with some confidence now that the only real danger they would face was the occasional rocket attack which they were used to. Now I had to turn my focus back to my life, but it was so hard. It just didn't make sense to me to live my daily life while people I know were experiencing the worst time in their lives. Everyone in Israel knew someone who was directly impacted on that terrible day. And not just Israelis, even some in our own community here at Beth Miriam were directly affected. Some of my friends reported to duty in the IDF, and I was so worried for them. What were they seeing? What were they feeling? How were they coping? Because I didn't think I was coping so well, so how could they, right in the middle of it? Still, I decided that I owed it to all who paid a dear price to be Jewish, to live my life. So I did. I tried to honor them, those who could not. And I began to count the days until I could be in Israel through a program called Talma that I've been a part of now for 5 summers, teaching summer school English. At first, the program was suspended because no one knew if it could even take place. But by January, it was determined that it would indeed take place. And I ached to go and be in Israel alongside the citizens, offering strength and support and helping myself feel like I could be a part of it myself and heal myself too. Finally, departure day arrived, and aside from the usual joys of travel and reacquainting with beloved colleagues I only get to see on this program, there was a familiar sense of coming home, so deep for a place which is patently not actually my home. We were shaken to walk down the great hall along the way to customs that was lined with giant posters of hostages. Here was Hirsch, there was Eden. Oh look, there's Naama and Liri and Agam, Daniela, Karina, and Eden, and Shira, and Kafir, and Ariel, and so many, many others. We dragged our luggage slowly, slowly giving homage to each and every poster, because each and every one represented a real, innocent person, some of whom we got to know a bit more than others. Lumps in our throats, we walked, each of us lost in our thoughts, surely thinking how easily it could have been us or someone we loved. Then we were reunited with our Israeli counterparts and leadership, and here is where I personally just lost it. Seeing them smiling and whole was utterly overwhelming for me. That song, Hine Matov Umanaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad, you know, how good and pleasant it is when brothers and sisters gather together, never meant more to me than it did right at that moment. What a relief it was to be in Israel, surrounded by those I had spent months worrying about, and now able to count myself among them. In many ways, this past summer was just like the other 4 summers I had spent in Jerusalem teaching summer school English. But also, it so was not. The signs of a countrywide trauma were everywhere. Posters at bus stops, prayers displayed on storefronts, billboards with messages of hope like, "Together we will win," became our backdrop. Even the recorded messages on the buses included encouraging blurbs. Even on the flight, both coming and going, there were references to the matzav, the situation, and a prayer for our soldiers, and a hope that the conflict would end soon and the hostages would return home unharmed. The war and the plight of the hostages were everything anyone could think of every day, and we wondered, how do they do it? I met people from many walks of life, each with their own story, their own way of coping, their own view of the present and the future. I met Amit, who gave us a step-by-step, location-by-location, harrowing account of how he survived the attack at the Nova site. A mostly jolly Israeli, you could tell between his hilarious self-deprecating jokes that he was actually deeply affected. It was so sobering to walk where horrors happened so recently. My mind tortured me, imagining the scenes of terror so vividly that I had to close my eyes and shake my head to make it stop. But bearing witness was imperative. We saw the shelter where grenades were thrown, likely how Hirsch Goldberg Polin, of blessed memory, lost the better part of his arm. We walked through the woods where young people hid, realizing it was more of a grove than a forest, which is why and how many were caught, or killed, or caught, tortured, then killed, or kidnapped, or worse. Amit told his story, quiet, serious, and sober when he spoke of a friend who was killed, but then so funny when he told of how furiously he drove from here to there, or how his wife was going to kill him for all the snacks he bought in anticipation of the party at Nova. Retelling his story, he told us that was his therapy. Imagine. And he feels obligated to, for the sake of his friends whom he witnessed, lost. Survivor's guilt. There's a lot of that going on too. Did you know that at least 50 who survived the Nova attack subsequently died by suicide? what they witnessed and could not live and unsee. But Amit is doing it somehow. That's amazing resilience. I met a store owner on a busy Ben Yehuda street. How's business, I would ask. Terrible, he would respond. No tourists. But what can we do? We're here, he says with a shrug. Of course, I spent a few shekels too many. Tzedakah, I told myself, rather than think I'd been taken advantage of. I met Naama, my Israeli co-teacher, who is dreading the day her eager son joins the IDF. What will become of him, she wondered, and I have 3 more behind him. I'm never going to sleep again, she thinks. I met families living in hotels since October, displaced for fear of a similar attack in the northern towns bordering Lebanon, not able to return until they've been dealt with once and for all. Imagine a mother, religious, with 7 children, 7, living in a hotel while her husband stays back to protect the town with the other men. And yet her attitude was one of joy of living, not despair, just somehow making it work because we have to live our lives. What choice do we have? And most moving, I met 2 young IDF soldiers at the Hadassah rehab facility on Mount Scopus. One was a quiet young man with dark hair and beautiful gray eyes. His arm was wrapped in an ace bandage from his shoulder to his wrist. We're not sure what happened to him. We certainly didn't ask. But he did volunteer that when his physical therapy was done, he'd be going back. Wow. The other soldier had his mom with him, and he was missing a hand. He was a software engineer, just like my son and daughter. And while we were there to support him, he and his mom were concerned about us, asking us how we were coping with the anti-Semitism in our home countries. And their outlook was not one of why me, rather a realistic acceptance of the situation. His mother calmly told us, he'll be okay, it's fine. By the way, she has 2 other sons in Gaza somewhere. What strength. We even had the opportunity to breathe the same air as the father of Hirsch Goldberg Poland at a community song session, but not like the spirited camp ones. I went with several of my young besties, and if I've ever had a true spiritual experience, it was there. To collectively sing mournfully songs we knew, and to listen to songs we didn't know, all of us there for the same profound reason, supporting hostage families and each other. It was one of the most moving experiences ever. There we were, taking turns weeping and supporting each other while singing along with hundreds of people filling the venue in Jerusalem when we spotted him. Of course, at the time, Hirsch was still with us. But I was struck, as I have been so many times, at how normal this father was, greeting people, shaking hands, hugging and chatting with the people around him, while also closing his eyes and swaying as a certain song or two took him away somewhere. How could he even stand, be out of bed, much less be with people that way? I came to realize that this was a period of a strange, never-ending Shiva. No death, not yet, no funeral, and yet a most profound loss, filled with fear and dread. But also needing to get up, eat, change clothes, pay a bill, and advocate tirelessly, and sort of go on with life as we do during Shloshim. What strength it must take. But it wasn't a Shiva or a Shloshim. It was worse, a limbo of sorts, which we found out not long ago, ended in a way we could never even allow ourselves to imagine. But that's the thing about Israelis and their culture. They are going through the worst times in their short history. The entire country wants all the hostages back. They just don't exactly agree on how to get them back, but that's a whole other long, contentious story. They say that each life is a universe, and it is so very true in Israel. Everyone is related to everyone via those universes. You know, degrees of separation. I am now forever bonded to a murdered innocent from Kibbutz Holit, Shlomo Atias, a music teacher who was killed along with his wife on October 7th while protecting and defending their son, one of 3 children, and all of whom actually survived. I was deeply honored and so humbled to receive this award in his memory for my contributions to the organization I've served for 5 summers. I never met Shlomo, but he was also a fellow in this program, and being honored by this award helps me to perpetuate his name. I'll be saying Kaddish for him on the 7th, and I'm including his name in the Yizkor book along with my own beloved family members. Because while I never met him, he is nevertheless a beloved member of my family now. As I said when I spoke about being at the demonstration in Washington last fall, and as Rabbi Isai quoted in his sermon, Kol Yisrael arivim ze bazeh, all of Israel is responsible for one another. Israel needs us right now. Going this summer was healing for the core of my soul. Upon landing, I was interviewed by the marketing personnel of the organization, and I was asked if I was scared to come to Israel. No, I said resolutely. If I'm here, it's because it must be safe or the program would have been canceled. Then they asked me, and what if something does happen? Because it could. I said, well then, I'll be taking my chances just like any other Israeli does every day. Now at this point, I was supposed to be encouraging and maybe even pressuring you to go to Israel. I was going to say that it was safe enough. Maybe not right now, at this very moment. I was planning to be going in December to attend a seminar for principals at Jewish schools. And I hope I still can, but it's really hard to get a flight right now. I would like to challenge you also to think about going as soon as possible, when things die down a little bit. Maybe that's how we can make it a Shana Tova, by taking action and by joining our people while they're having their moment of deed. As soon as it's possible, go and show Israel you are a part of the people. As soon as it's possible, go and be a support. As soon as it's possible, go and connect. Go and help the economy. As soon as it's possible, go for yourself. Go so you can tell people what an amazing place it is. As soon as it's possible, go and be with more Jewish than you've ever been around, ever. It's so powerful. As soon as possible, if I arrange a trip, will you go? Yalla.
Thank you. Thank you. There will be another trip. I don't know when it will be. Stella will be leading it. I'm only 20% not serious. I'm very serious too. And I will have no problems helping organize the trip. And if it's meant to be, it will be, and we will make it happen. Let's continue as what? Yes, let's continue on page 267. Yeah. Continue on page 267 with the final sounding of the shofar.
No, this is the second.
Huh?
This is number 2. I mean, we have one more after this.
Oh, yeah, not the second to my final one. So I'm going to need all the kids up here again. You're going to have to come on up. A God of remembrance, remember the covenant of our ancestors. We affirm it today. Remember, we are a people of noble ideals. Help us to attain them. Remember all your people, all the nations on the road to peace. Bless their efforts. Remember with mercy the binding of Isaac, the sorrow of Sarah, and Abraham's words, here I am, Baruch atah Adonai, Zocher Habrit. Please rise for the second sounding.
All right.
You guys ready?
All right, I'm going to start right there. Ready?
Tekiah.
Shvarim Torah.
Shevarim Torah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shevarim. Tekiah. Tekiah.
Nice job. Yeah, you may be seated.
הרשת שפתנו ירוב לפניך, מקשיב לכל תקיעתנו, ותקבל ברחמים, ברחמים וברצון, סדר זיכרונותינו.
For the final sounding of the shofar, I would like to invite the members of the board who are here to please come forward. For the final sounding of the shofar, the members of the board and the executive committee, Baruch Atah Adonai, Shomea Kol Truat Amo Yisrael Barachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai, to hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel, and only in New Jersey will we have a shofar with Canada geese.
As long as they don't
Yeah.
drop anything, Rabbi.
They'll drop.
No.
By the way, do you know what the Sioux Indian name for Canada goose is?
No.
Wawa.
There you go.
I'm not making it up. I'm not. What's the logo of the Wawa? Wawa means Canada goose. Let us rise on page 284.
Are you guys doing it? Am I doing it? Here. Tekiah. Shivarim Teruah. Tekiah. Tekiah. Shivarim. Tekiah. Tekiah. Teruah. Tekiah Gedolah. Hey. Areshet Sifatenu Yedov Lefanecha El Ram Venisa. Areshet Sifatenu Yedov Lefanecha El Ram Venisa. Maybe Nu Mazin Mabi Tu Makshiv Kol Tkiatenu which Kabel
Page 286.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol lateit gedula liotzer breshit shelo sanu kigoye ha'aratzot velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo samechelkeinu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umadim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nei